Voyageur Squadron 14, A Tale of Interstellar Seduction. Part 3, The Search for Dr. Zimbargo. It had already been 3 space months since Lone Maximum had vanquished the giant robotic spider, his arch-nemesis. But Lone had no time to rest on his intergalactic laurels. He was hard at work in physical training, preparing for the next peril that outer space should present. Using enhanced gravity and some of the finest Calmex brand lubrication in the sector, he was able to create a workout regimen that was both physically challenging and quite sexual to the outside observer. He was locked hard in one position known as the Starving Locust when Amelia Spark, his intergalactic lover and personal masseuse, entered the room. "Oh, Lone, why must you trouble yourself with these strenuous and efficient workouts? Is your love for me measured by the size of your biceps or the stiffness of your fine abs? The giant robotic spider is destroyed. Lay with me, Lone. You've had so many girlfriends. Lay with me like we used to lay in the tropical jungles of Macronesia 11. Lone was puzzled on how Amelia Spark was always able to enter these rooms. Nearly 20 years ago, Voyageur Squadron had installed genital access scanners at every door on the ship, believing the genitals of each male captain to be unique. Women were completely unable to navigate the ships, but the whole institution of Voyageur Squadron 14 was no stranger to unabashed sexism. Amelia, if I've learned one thing, it's this one thing. Never send a machine to do a machine's work. Therefore, the owner couldn't have been a machine. Therefore, the spider couldn't have owned itself. Therefore, it must be owned by someone or something, even another machine, perhaps. I believe the spider was sent by someone to rape you." Amelia, always thoroughly aroused by Lone's mental prowess and his powers of deductive reasoning, leaped on top of him, and they made love until the first hours of the morning. Or perhaps just an extended period of space-time, because in the cold depths of outer space, there are no mornings. Lone awoke delirious several space hours later after that bout of ferocious lovemaking. For some reason, he was plagued with constant illnesses after he made love with Amelia, as of lately. Already Lone had speculations that the illnesses were caused by Amelia using the wrong brand of Tarsonic Index 10 massage oil, because their massages and their lovemaking were usually closely intertwined. But he had realized long ago that he couldn't be too sure of anything these days. They changed brands several times, but to no avail. As he woke, Amelia Spark whispered erotically into his ear, "I've done a preliminary analysis on a new brand of Tarsonic Index 10 massage oil, a Zimbargo brand, Perusian-based lubricant. Results show that it shouldn't cause an allergic reaction. But with no knowledge of the source of the bioreaction pathways of the Andromeda strain of your protein bodies, of your excitation pathway, I can't be too sure of anything these days." "Wait a minute," Lone said, excited. "What brand did you say?" "Zimbargo brand," she repeated. "It all makes sense now," Lone said, a look of fear and courage at the same time coming across his sweaty, rugged face. "Dr. Zimbargo and I were partners at the Voyageur Squadron 14. We did some exciting work on the fluxional gradients of Huttman brand rear space thrusters. He took a lover named Leomania. One night, Dr. Zimbargo left the lab early after suffering a bout of intestinal flu, most likely from a Galmanian arachnid. It did not take long after this for his lover, Lomania, to seduce me. I was young, and my appetite for romance knew no bounds. Upon finding of these doings, Dr. Zimbargo went mad. He blamed me for poisoning him and accused me of raping his lover. He dropped out of the academy and began to obsess over arachnids, studying them and in his spare time constructing giant metallic spiders. Upon graduating from the Voyageur Squadron Academy, he told me that he would send his giant metallic spiders to rape all of my lovers. Only then would this intergalactic debt be paid. Only then would I know his space pain. It all makes perfect sense now." "Oh, Lone, you tell such good stories. What do we do now?" spoke Amelia. "There's only one thing we can do, Amelia. We have to kill Dr. Zimbargo so we can finally live out our interstellar romance in peace. And I know exactly where to find him. We need to get to the piloting deck immediately," Lone quipped, grabbing Amelia by her humerus. They ran to the door, and Lone thrashed his genitals so hard into the genital scanner that it shook the whole of the entire ship. They then quickly ran to the piloting deck. "Computer, reroute the rear hub metallic rudder to the forward 45 degrees posterior heading space south," Lone screamed. "Please provide access code," came the automatic reply. Access code KJZDLFJIIUR8957398475 semicolon LFDHHAKRHFHLK 2345534J5HKJK4 579 HJK JKH HQ3N5RAFNKJH JDFQU 3U58970913875 JKH 70897F9U808 7F89A70897888 AEFU UIY 3415097. Access code accepted. They then approached the planet, or so it appeared to be a planet. And it's almost like the ground on the planet is moving, said Amelia Spark, looking at the images relayed to the piloting deck via Portavision fiber optic channeling cables. That's no planet, Lone said authoritatively, and that's no ground. This is a giant food morsel, and the ground you see is a coating of hundreds to trillions of intergalactic spiders who have been feasting on it for nearly 30 years. I'm sure we'll find Dr. Zimbargo at the core. Yes, the solar flare of 105 SY, space year, had left many planets in the Rabonga system completely parched and devoid of vegetation, unable to support their populations with vital nutrients. This had prompted the humanitarian wing of Voyageur Squadron 14 to manufacture massive kernels of sustenance, the size of comets, at the planets in an effort to restore their native populations. The original idea was to shoot the massive sustenance kernels at the planet. When it was found out that the collisions with the planets were causing much more harm than good to the planets, the idea was largely abandoned for a more rational approach, causing several massive sustenance kernels to be jettisoned into empty space. It wasn't long before the intergalactic space critters migrated and made a home on the massive kernels. As the ship passed through the core of the giant food morsel, they suddenly found themselves in the core of Dr. Zimbargo's sinister laboratory. Larger spiders in cages, smaller spiders in jars, metallic spiders, spiders in the flesh, everywhere, pictures of spiders on the wall, and there was Dr. Zimbargo in the middle of it all, slowly petting a smaller pet spider that he bred for his personal use. "Welcome, Lone Maximum," came that hideous voice. "I've been waiting for you for 20 years. "Stop this madness," Lone roared, "or I will stop you. I will stop you permanently. I will stop you for good, and I will stop you forever." "Oh, I highly doubt that," came that sinister voice again. Dr. Zimbargo then dropped his cane that was topped with the pluminium spider, pluminium being the most valuable metal ore in the quadrant. He then took out a small remote with only one button and a very large antenna. As he pressed the button repeatedly, Lone felt a constant burning deep in his loins, but much more painful than the simple burnings of passion he often felt for Amelia. You see, with my giant metallic spider, I was not only merely raping Amelia, but with its long fiber optic tentacles, I was implanting many microscopic spiders that would eventually spread to your loins, as you would inevitably make love to her. When I press this button, it tells the spider to release their incredibly painful toxin, Spider Toxin 172. You see, it's all part of my plan, Lone. You fell directly into my trap. You will always be alone. Now it is time for you to die. Get him, boys. As he gave the command, 2 giant metallic spiders, even bigger than before, ran at Lone. Lone has already taken on 1 giant metallic spider, but can he take on 2 spiders that are even bigger, with his poisoned loins severely restricting his usually agile, athletic movements? And how will Amelia's poisonous treachery be dealt with? Will she be forgiven after Lone wins the battle with the 2 giant metallic spiders? Tune into next weekend's edition of Voyageur Squadron 14, A Tale of Interstellar Seduction.